everybody knows, TV shows have a way of stretching the truth to get points across, and it's always very obvious how far these truths are stretched when someone actually dealing with what the people in the TV show are dealing with watch the TV show and comment. So that is what I'm going to do for all of you today with a new TV show that Fox has just come out with called The Red Band Society. It takes place in a hospital, and it's following the lives of a bunch of different kids who all have different illnesses and who live their lives in and out of hospitals, and how they all connect and how their lives intertwine with the doctors and the nurses and all of that. And it is a really uplifting show. It's not a depressing, like everyone dies in the end. I'll start off with kind of the technicalities that they did get very wrong. Patients are not allowed to just go into each other's rooms. That is like a no, especially for people who have cystic fibrosis and cancer. You got to think their immune systems are so low. It's not, that stuff does not happen. So another thing is the room decorating. That is a big deal. To decorate a room, you're not allowed to hang anything up on walls. You're not allowed to do a lot of stuff. There's a lot of codes there. And as coming from someone who does decorate a room, it takes a lot to get your room to the level that these kids were at. And if you're someone like Dash who has cystic fibrosis, or you're someone like Emma who has an eating disorder, you're not in all the time. You're in for maybe a few weeks here or there, and then you go home. So it's unlikely that they would be at that level of room decorating, you know what I mean? While there are a lot of things that are off and aren't quite represented properly, and it definitely makes you feel like, wow, if only my hospital life was like that. I want to be able to go up onto a rooftop with twinkle lights and chill up there and drink. Yeah, thank you, please. So while Hospitalized isn't necessarily like that, it did capture this underlying thing that I think hasn't been looked at very well in hospitals. And it was said really well up on the roof. Leo, the main character, was giving a speech, and he was saying, we few, we happy few, we band of brothers, and all that. And what I loved about that was the first time I ever heard on a show someone say, as happy few, we're normal, we're teenagers, we're friends, and we're happy right now, without having to explain we're happy in spite of an illness. We're happy, but then there's also all of this. They're just happy. They were just living. Charlie, the Coma Kid, and I can say the Coma Kid because I've been in a coma before, so I'm allowed to use derogatory terms. He's talking a lot about how he can hear everyone, and he just can't do anything about it. And I remember I was in a coma for a good 3 weeks or so, and it is very true. If you're not in a medically induced coma, I remember I could hear pretty much everyone, but they went through this weird filter. So in my brain, it wasn't that they were just talking to me and I was in a coma and I could hear their voice. It was like this alternate dream world, and so anything and everything that someone said, they were automatically in my dream talking to me. So it's weird. It's not as direct as they made it in the show, but it is true. You can hear people. Another thing I really, really loved about this was the nurse character. That you had the bitchy nurse, and then Brittany, who was like the chipper nurse. And it's so accurate right there. You got the nurses that come in and they're like, "Hi, let's give you some shots. Are you ready?" And then you have the other ones who are like, "Pull up your sleeve before I slap you." You know what I mean? Those are the and it's beautiful, and I love that there's both of them, because you grow so connected with both of those characters, to be honest with you, and especially in real life. So one more thing before we go, let's talk about the character Dash, who has cystic fibrosis. I'm excited to kind of hear a little bit more about him and what's going on, because from the looks of it, he's at a very okay stage of CF. I have a, deep attachment to the way that they represent it, because it's such a complex illness. And the way that Dash lives, you can tell he really doesn't kind of give a shit. He's kind of one of those characters. And while that's a fun choice to portray any sick kid character as, yeah, let me just go drink and smoke, I don't know if they're going to make it obvious how dangerous that is for a CFer. Let me just say, I am very grateful to the people who have put this show together for creating a different perspective on hospitals. I'm grateful that someone's willing to look at it as more than just a scary place. There are kids who are sick and spend all that time in the hospitals, and it's not hell, it's life. You know, it is. It's regular life, and I've had amazing, hilarious, funny, sweet moments in there, and I'm happy they're showing those. So that's it. I hope you all enjoyed the show and the review, and I'm going to be posting more of these because I am very interested to see which direction the show goes. So I am excited. I hope you all are too, and I hope you all enjoyed. Bye!